Welcome back. Sorry it took so long for me to get this out, but here we go. We're talking about Mr. Barbecue, A.K.A. Mr. CrossFit. Let me turn on my lights. So I met Mr. Barbecue on Plenty of Fish, a dating app. And yes, I do use dating apps. I don't really know anybody or have a lot of friends, so I kind of have to use dating apps to meet anybody. But and also I have a thing against dating coworkers, which you'll find out why later in this video series. But yeah, I met him on Plenty of Fish. We matched, and so when I first matched with Mr. Barbecue, he wasn't currently living in the state. He was moving to the state I'm living in, and so the first initial talking was done through through text messages and stuff. So one of the first things he asked me was, because he's very motivated to go on a date with me. One of the first things you want to do is you want to barbecue for me. You really like barbecuing. So it's just like, yeah, I like barbecuing, or barbecue. Who doesn't? One of the second things he asked me was, did I know anything about CrossFit? And I didn't tell him this, but in my head I was thinking, I don't really know much. I just know other fitness people who aren't into CrossFit hate CrossFit people because they think that they're annoying. And after him, I kind of get why. So he asked me out on a date, and I ended up going to his house so he could make me some barbecue because he had a cool smoker that he talked a lot about in text messages. And so when I first get there for the date, he tells me there's about two things that make up him as a person and his interests and his his general personality. And those two things are barbecuing and CrossFit. So that's all the motherfucker talked about the whole date, was just about barbecuing. And it was very deep and intricate info about barbecuing, and it just an overwhelming amount of information about the art of barbecuing. This motherfucker went into what cuts of meat you're supposed to smoke, what temperature and how long you're supposed to smoke it for, what woods give off the best smoke. It was just applewood, mesquite, cherry, just all that shit. And I'm just and I love hearing people prattle on about their interests. It's deeply entertaining to me, and I like people having an interest, but the way he talked about it was just a wall. You couldn't really I couldn't really add anything to the conversation about barbecuing or just anything, or really question him. It was just a wall. He just went on and on and on, and I'm just oh my god. I even asked him hey, do you have any questions for me? Is there anything that you'd like to know about me? And he was just nah, I don't really need to know anything. So throughout the whole date, I am just thinking to myself, is he just like this? Is he nervous? Am I making him nervous? I tend to make people nervous. I don't know why, but also on the same hand, I totally understand why I make people nervous. But at the end of the date, he's just hey Jordan, I really like you, and I want you to date me exclusively. I want you to delete that app and stop talking to anybody who you're talking to right now or anything. And I'm just thinking like, bruh, I don't know what impression I've given to you thus far. I have not spoken this whole date. You have just been talking about the skate this whole goddamn time. So I end up agreeing to seeing him again, and I was just like, internally I was going like, I'm not feeling it with Mr. Barbecue. I'm just gonna assume that he was just nervous and that he's just not like that normally. He's, he got the first date jitters. So, one night, I think pretty soon after the first date, we're texting each other, and I end up having to go to bed. So the thing about like the Plenty of Fish app is that it tells you when you're online or not, but if you're not on the app or you have it going in the background, it still tells, like, you still show up as online. This is important. I end up falling asleep, and I get this, like, I wake up to go to work, and I see this angry text message on the Plenty of Fish, like, texting thing. It's like, you're just up all night texting other men. I'm just like, my dude, I am a workaholic. I can only focus on one person dating. I don't do dating or seeing multiple people at the same time. I can't do it. It stresses me out too damn much. But yeah, I just want to talk. And I tell him, like, you dumb motherfucker, just because an app says that a person's online doesn't mean that they're actually online. I was asleep. I have to work. And then he's like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. And I'm just like, but, so I'm already, I'm feeling not super great about Mr. Barbecue after that interaction. But I still end up giving him, like, a second chance. And we end up going on a second date. We end up going to Texas Longhorns. and he just, the whole date, he mostly talked about CrossFit, and it was kind of the same thing, where it just this, like, unloading of information about CrossFit and different exercises he's done. I was just like, okay, dude. And, like, he also went into a little bit more, because I ordered salmon, and he's just talking about, like, how you barbecue salmon, and, like, what woods you use, and how long it takes to smoke salmon, and I'm just like, oh my god, stop about the barbecuing. And also another weird thing he did the whole date was he would stop talking about the subject he was talking about, and then you just, like, openly stare at me. He would, for, like, minutes, and I'm just, like, so, like, you just, like, stare like that at me, and not even talk to me or anything. And I'm just like, what's up with this guy? I'm so nervous. Please stop staring at me, please. And I'm just, I'm not going on another date with this dude. So when I got home, I just ended up deleting Plenty of Fish, and I never got back on it again, because it's just like, that guy was a fucking weirdo. By the way, I did actually tell him, apparently I wasn't direct enough, because I don't think he got that I was telling him, like, hey, I'm not really interested in seeing you anymore. I'm just not feeling it with you. Because A few months later, I get a friend request from Snapchat, and it had the. I didn't realize at the time that it was Mr. Barbecue. I was just like, oh, this guy has the same name as Mr. Barbecue. Oh, that's weird. And yes, sometimes I accept the random people who send me friend requests on Snapchat, even though I have no idea who they are. Sometimes it's fun to talk to them. I usually end up immediately blocking them because they're weird and horny. But but anyway, so the guy sends me a message saying, like, hey, how you been? I want to see you, and I'm just like, hey, I've been doing good. I didn't realize it was him. Like, do I know this guy? Who the fuck is this guy? And then he sends me a picture, and it was him. It was Mr. Barbecue, and I was just like, I was like, bruh, did you not? Was I not clear enough? Did you not catch the hint? And basically, I told him, like, I've been busy. And that was the end of it. I didn't try talking to him again. And I just kind of... A common theme with some of the guys that I end up talking with is that I kind of forget that they exist once I'm done talking to them. So this is kind of what happened after I got done sending that message to him. I kind of forgot that he existed. Until he sent me another really beautiful and eloquent message. It's two quite tender and beautiful for you guys to hear. When I read that, I immediately went block. I didn't reply, and I just blocked him. And yeah, it was just too beautiful and eloquent for me to keep talking to him and have him as my friend. So that's it. That's Mr. Barbecue. I hope you found it funny. This is my mom's favorite dating story of mine. Well, one of her favorites. She likes Mr. Tarantula Hands more. And that's it. No more of the misters for now. You'll have to wait a whole another year to get another story from me. So you guys are gonna have to wait. And while you're waiting, I have a bunch of other stuff you can watch. And I'm also working on editing a bunch of other videos. Like, I'm finally going to... I kind of feel like my library is in a place where I can take a tour of it with you guys if you're interested. And I also got a bunch of bookmarks, and I'm going to do like a bookmark haul. Hopefully you'll enjoy that. I got a really expensive one that I really regret buying. So yeah, just stay tuned, subscribe if any of that shit sounds interesting. So bye, until next time. Love you so much. Bye. Bleh.